Good now. So give me a second.
Okay, looks like we are live. Good evening, Tarrant County. Welcome to the Tarrant County Democratic Party Get Out the Vote Rally Harris-a-thon. Now, this is going to be different for me because I can't hear the audience because we're streaming to YouTube. So, in my mind, I just hear this mass roaring of everybody that is on who is excited about our presentation this evening. I am Crystal Gayton. I am your chair of the Tarrant County Democratic Party. And again, we are thrilled that you have joined us. There are, from my understanding, so many calls that are happening around our country tonight, to be exact. But if you are a resident of Tarrant County, this is the call that you need to be on. We are exactly 100 days away from the most crucial election of our lifetime. And we are excited about the prospects of having the first African American woman as president. The energy and support behind Vice President Harris is unprecedented. Since her endorsement from President Biden, Vice President Harris has shattered records in so many ways. We are here to support those efforts to get her elected, as well as all other down ballot candidates. From our very own Tarrant County Sheriff candidate Patrick Moses to our Constable Precinct 2 candidate Robert McGinty. Our vice president, soon to be president, will need all of the support that she can get once elected. So we stand with Colin Allred in his fight to beat Ted Cruz. And again, I hear the masses roaring because we know we need to beat Ted Cruz. Tonight, you will hear from elected officials, activists, grassroots, and community leaders with information on how you can get involved, how you can stay engaged, and impact the election come November. So, before we get started, be sure to share this call on all of your social media platforms, like and follow the Tarrant County Democratic Party socials, and help us bring Vice President Harris and all other Democrat candidates to victory in November. So, without further ado, and to help us lead tonight's charge is our very own Fort Worth City Councilman, Dr. Jared Williams. Do you hear all that mass screaming and woo-hooing for you? You hear it like
Oh
I hear
yeah.
it?
It's so loud, my screen over here is shaking.
Yes, yes, it is so, so amazing. Thank you for executing the call when I reached out to you. We wanted someone that was going to bring some energy, that was going to bring some dynamic experience and background and some youth to the call. And who else better to do that than you? Thank you again for joining us. Introduce yourself to this massive audience that we have here tonight.
Right on. Thank you, Madam Chair. And I am so excited to be a part of this Harris-a-thon, not only to see that we ensure that our Madam Vice President becomes Madam President of these United States of America, but also that we elect amazing people, amazing Democrats, all the way down the ballot right here in Tarrant County.
Yeah.
And there's no better moment than now with 100 days left to roll up our sleeves, put our work boots on, and to get fired up and ready to go. For those of y'all who don't know me, I'm Dr. Jared Williams, and I am privileged and honored to serve the neighborhood that raised me right here in Fort Worth, District 6, as its council member. And, you know, the journey to this council seat wasn't one that was easy. It was one that many said that couldn't be won. It was one that, for a long time didn't represent the mass majority of neighbors that live right here in District 6. And yet there was something in the air in that moment back in 2020 and 2021 when the election happened, similar to what's happening right now, with folks who believed in the power of people, the power to drive change through our vote, through our voice, through our door knocking, to encourage others to get out and vote. And it was one that is quite similar to now. When I decided to run for city council, it was amidst a pivotal time. We were just on the heels of COVID. So many folks were facing some of the hardest times they had ever experienced in their life, dealing with healthcare issues, dealing with economic issues and losing jobs, and so much uncertainty, all amidst social unrest on the heels of Miss Jackie Craig and the Tatiana Jefferson right here in Fort Worth. And I felt this deep sense alongside of my community members of the importance of the moment to ensure that we had a city council that represents not only the moment, but can meet the moment and put our minds together to solve some really tough challenges that the city was facing. And our seat, this Council District 6 seat, was held by one of the longest serving council members in the history of Fort Worth, who ran in a nonpartisan race on the partisan lines, running on hashtag Republican. And, that we were outspent. We were outspent by a lot, 4-1. They raised, over $300,000, and we raised over $80,000, which didn't compare to 300, but it was certainly more than anyone had raised in a race in District 6 in quite a while. And that was because of people who believed in the campaign that we were driving, one that was about building strong neighborhoods, ensuring that no one is left behind, ensuring that a city like Fort Worth, which is the 12th largest city in Fort Worth, worked for the vast majority of the people, not only in District 6, but across the city. And we were able to do that by small dollar donations, volunteers who were willing to tie up their Reeboks or their New Balances or their Hokas to knock one extra door. And it was amazing. We were in a contested general, and we forced a runoff while doubling turnout. On average, in city council races, you may see 5% of turnout in a district of 100,000. That's 5,000 people voting. And in our election, we were able to see 10,000 people turn out to the polls to force a runoff. We were in the runoff, and we were able to triple turnout by continuing to build a grassroots movement, encouraging our friends, our neighbors, our kinfolk to show up to the polls and to make sure their voices were heard through their votes. And needless to say, we were behind on runoff election night until the last precinct. And we won by, I think, 292 votes on the last precinct, Southwest Sub Courthouse. That just goes to show that even when tripling turnout and even with all of the things that we did, it was still a narrow race. It was a race that no one said we could win, and we won by 292 votes. That is one neighborhood, y'all. And so if you think that your vote doesn't count in elections, I am a living testament at the power of people coming together, believing in a vision, and being able to shift the narratives. The importance of that was not only were we able to flip a seat, but even more importantly, we were able to begin shifting policy. We were able to ensure that, that that issues such as redistricting and representation of our council actually reflected the diversity of our city. Now we have our first Latina ever represented on the city council right here in Fort Worth, elected because of the work that we did in redistricting. Now we're seeing seats that are representative of the diversity of our city because of the work that we did in redistricting. We're also able to see, progress on things like healthcare and emergency medical response, and ensuring that we're making bold investments, changing a broken system of emergency medical response, which was outsourced, and bringing it right here in the city under the fire department. And we're double down our commitment to ensure that response times are where they need to be, so that when we pick up 911 and we call for emergency medical response, that we're getting the care that we need when we need it. It's helped us to push on issues like minimum wage, and ensuring that no one who works for the city of Fort Worth makes less than $20 an hour. I mean, so the power of our vote is not just in getting amazing people like Vice President Kamala Harris and all of the other Democrats that will be on our ballot here in Tarrant County elected, but it's about the transformative change that is able to happen because we elect people that understand and represent our values and our vision for the America, the Tarrant County that we want to live in. And so, needless to say, I am fired up and ready to go because I know there are so many other folks that are building campaigns, and I'm a part of them, just like we did back in 2021. And I'm so excited about the possibilities that will come because of it. It's no surprise that we have a lot of work to do here in Tarrant County. Our Tarrant County government and governments across the county still need amazing folk elected. We have a county commissioners court where we do not have the majority, and we're feeling the brunt and the pains of that. We have a Tarrant County sheriff who is not representing the interests of our community, and we've seen jail deaths after jail deaths that are tragic. Humanity should belong in our Tarrant County jail system as well. And so that's why it's important that we elect a sheriff like Patrick Moses. And so, needless to say, there are a lot of seats left to be won. But I'm so excited and energized about what is happening in 100 days because of all of you on this call who are so ready to get to work and ensure that we get folks to the polls, millennials included. I've been blessed to have been elected one of the youngest council members in the city of Fort Worth's history. I am a millennial, and I am here to tell all my millennials that we got to stay in the game. And that means that we got to not only take ourselves to the polls, but take our families to the polls, get our friends out who are fellow millennials. We can do this. This is our moment. This is our time. This is the country and the community that, our ancestors have fought so hard to ensure that we have rights such as the right to vote and the right to mobilize. And it's our turn to pay it forward to our future generations, my daughter Janelle and my son Jameson and your daughter and your sons and all of your family to make sure that we get out to the polls. And so we have an amazing lineup tonight for you. I'm honored, Madam Chair, to be able to co-moderate with you. You are the star of the show as always. And so I
People
am
that are
humbled
on
to
this
be in your
call,
space.
people that are tuned in are the star of the show.
There we go.
Them to be effective and win in November. But
That's right.
we move on to our next guest. You mentioned Reeboks and New Balance. I have to
Yeah.
ask you, Dr. Williams, do you own a pair of Chucks?
I do own a pair of Chucks. They're all white, but they're not as clean as they used to be when I first bought them,
It's all
but
good.
they're
I think
white.
we need to dust them off and get those ready because that's
Let's
what
get it.
we need our Chucks on.
Let's do it.
Yes. So our next guest is none other than Texas State Chairman Gilberto Hinojosa, who serves as our leader in the state of Texas over the Democratic Party. Thank you, Chairman Hosa, for being here this evening with us. How are you?
I'm great, Madam Chair. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for joining us.
It's been an exciting 8 days for Democrats all across the country. We were praying and we were praying and we were praying that something would happen because things did not look good. And lo and behold, God jumped in there and said, "Okay, we're going to start up this thing right all over again, and we're going to put the winner in the place of the guy that saved our nation during the 4 years that he was president of the United States and saved the world probably as well. A person who I hold to the highest esteem for what he did in the last 4 years and the sacrifice that he made, and somebody that we should always remember. He will go down in history as one of the greatest presidents that the United States have ever had. He's a person that came from working people, working families. I never forgot about that. And all his life he spent it working for working people all across the country. His daddy was a union man. He was probably the most union-oriented president that we have ever had in the history of the presidency. He fought to fix up the devastation that was left by Trump's administration. He got us out of COVID. He restarted the economy. We have today the lowest unemployment rate in the United States that we have had in generations. Our growth rate is among the highest. Just this month, the reported jobs that came in was amazingly high. Every single quarter or every single month, you've seen huge increases in employment all across the country. Wages have gone up. He and his partner, Vice President Kamala Harris, made sure that the Affordable Care Act was strengthened after what the Republicans did during the Trump administration. They put together an infrastructure program that not only is fixing much needed repairs to infrastructure all across America, but it put people to work. And that's what we really needed to have. And I can go on and on about the things that he did. And so, in my opinion, he is a hero. Now we've got an opportunity. We've got this dynamic woman who has held every possible position in office, starting with a district attorney, attorney general. She was a United States senator, and the strong right-hand person for our president during the 4 years that he has been president. And it's amazing, and we've all talked about it, and we all understand what it means, but we have the contrast that we have today. We have a successful, result-oriented prosecutor running against a convicted felon, and that's the theme of this convention, right? Someone who has upheld the law for the people of California, for the people of San Francisco, is recognized as one of the most effective attorney generals that we have ever had in the United States, not just in California, but throughout the country, is respected by attorney generals all over the country. In fact, some of the people that are on her list for her selection as her running mate are former attorney generals that she served with at the same time, and have a deep respect for her and a relationship. I think that if she picks one of them, it'll make sure that the team that's going to be running for November and ultimately elected in January is going to be among the strongest and united that we've had in a long time. This election, what happened a week ago today, breathed life into all Democrats all across America. I know that people were feeling kind of down, people were feeling upset, millennials were not participating, they had kind of walked away from the electoral process. Minorities, African Americans, Hispanics, which have always been the backbone of the Democratic Party, were not participating. Texas had one of the lowest Democratic primary turnouts in its history this last election, and it was because there was no enthusiasm. People were down. They didn't think that we were going to be able to do anything under the current situation, and they just checked out. They checked out during the primary, and we were very afraid here in Texas that they were going to check out the November election. All of that has changed, and it's great for Texas Democrats because we've got a lot at stake in this election. We've got at the top of the ticket from your part of the state, Colin Allred, running for the United States Senate against probably one of the most disliked human beings, not just in the state of Texas, but in the entire United States. Someone who walked away from Texans during the freeze a few years ago and ended up in Cancun and blamed his wife and his kids for that. Someone who wasn't willing to stand up for his own wife when the current Republican candidate for president called her all sorts of names. I mean, I don't know about you, doctor, but somebody called my wife a name. Those are five. I'm taking my jacket off and I'm rolling up my sleeves and we're going to get it on. What did this guy do? What did this guy do for his wife? He endorsed Trump. That was his response. I mean, what a weak, and I don't even want to use the word in this Zoom call, but you all know what I'm talking about. That's the kind of human being he is. He doesn't care about anybody but him. He's someone who has spent his entire life taking care of himself, taking care of just himself, and he doesn't care about his family. He doesn't care about the people in the state of Texas. He doesn't care about the people in the United States. He doesn't care about poor people. He doesn't care about women. In fact, he has gone after women to deprive them of their fundamental right to choose to determine their own health care needs. He's a guy that has voted against every piece of legislation that benefits veterans, especially the legislation that was finally enacted over his no vote, that provided health care to veterans who were victims of some of the refinery burnings or the oil field burnings that occurred in Iraq during the Gulf Wars. He voted against it. He's voted against the infrastructure bill. He's voted against, the legislation that the Democrats put together to save the economy after the COVID demise of the economy. He's a bad guy, and he's got to go. And we've got the candidate to be able to beat him. But it was critical for us that people all be ready to go, that they check in, that they start working, that they get excited about this election, that they feel that there's something at stake here and that we can win, and that they can go out there and get their family, their neighbors, the people that they work with, the people that they go to church with, to go out and vote this election. That wasn't happening until last Sunday. And what has she done? She's excited the entire Democratic Party. She excited Democrats all over the country. In fact, the millennials now are volunteering at record numbers all across the United States, especially if you listen to what Beto is doing with Power of the People. They've gotten thousands of volunteers step up to help register voters. She has raised in a few days over $200 million and more than tripled the amount of money that was in the presidential campaign for Democrats today.
Chairman, I hate to cut you off, but I want to ask you one specific question as it relates to those who have joined this call here in Tarrant County. Could you briefly just discuss how Tarrant County is a battleground county and how it influences our state as it is right now, and likely our country in the days to come?
It is. Today, for example, you have a critical race for sheriff. Every single county that was purple or red that turned blue, the first race we won was the sheriff's race. Go to Dallas County. What happened when in 2004 Lupe got elected sheriff, and after that the dominoes started falling and we started winning all our races. Harris County, it was a red county. The Republicans controlled the commissioner's court. They had 4 out of the 5 seats on the commissioner's court. Only 1 seat held by a black was held by a Democrat. Every countywide seat was held by Republicans. And the judicial seats, every other election we would lose. It was not good. And then we elected a sheriff and everything started coming into place as well. You go to the same thing happened in Bexar County. Bexar County was just like Harris County's. It was every other election cycle. It was red and blue, red and blue. We elected a Democratic sheriff, and there is not a Republican countywide elected official today in Bexar County. So this election is critical for not just for Tarrant County, but for the state. Tarrant County is the largest county in the state of Texas. It's not blue today. In 2018, Beto won Tarrant County. It's a county that can be won by Democrats. It's a county that people can get excited to and go and elect Democrats up and down the ballot. Right now, you've got 2 House seats. And let me tell you why this is so critical. House seat 96 and 97, where Biden got 45% of the vote in 2020. Those 2 seats are critical for us because when in the Republican primary, Paxton and Abbott went after some Republicans that were against his bills to create a voucher system in our public school in the state of Texas. He defeated enough moderate Republicans, if you can say they're moderate Republicans, to be able to pass the voucher bill today, unless we pick up seats. Today, we believe we can pick up anywhere between 5 and 7 seats across the state of Texas. 2 of them are in Tarrant County. So it's important that we have a large turnout. We can win these 2 races if we have the kind of turnout that we had when Beto ran in 2018. And you also have, an opportunity to pick up persons in the commissioner's court. I believe that the numbers that would come in Tarrant County as opposed to what we've seen in the past, would be large enough to carry Colin Allred to victory. It's going to be everybody pitching in all across the state of Texas to be able to win this one. We're going to win big in Dallas County. We're going to win big in Harris County. We're going to win big in Bexar County. We're going to win big in Tarrant County. All those numbers are going to run up the score for us. We've got to do the same thing in Tarrant County, because if we do that, then Colin wins. He gets elected to the United States Senate, and it changes the whole national dynamics. Because remember, we've got a couple of seats that we may not pick up in this election from the U.S. Senate. Remember, the U.S. Senate right now we're one up. That's it. If we lose 2 seats nationwide and don't pick up any other seats, the Republicans are going to be in control of the United States Senate. A lot of the things that are important to us are going to be lost, because the Senate is the one that approves judicial nominations. We need to change the composition of the Supreme Court. We've got some Supreme Court justices that are in their 80s, including one of the most conservative ones, that may leave, and we need a Senate that is going to be able to support our President Harris when she nominates an individual to the Supreme Court. So this election is critical, and what happens in Tarrant County is extremely critical, because you can add to the numbers statewide that gives Colin Allred a victory. So this is, we always say this, but today it is probably more important than ever. This is the most important election that we've had. You've got a man, I don't know if you saw the quote today in the New York Times or whatever. You know what he said? He was talking to a bunch of Christian conservatives, and he said, I want you to go out and vote as many of y'all as you can. And don't worry, if you vote and we get past these 4 years, that is the last election you'll ever have to vote in. What does that mean? What is he telling us? Is he telling us that he's going to create a dictatorship? I mean, this is critical. And even in the presidential election, it all works out to where Texas does become critical. Yeah, we get ignored nationally, but we haven't gotten any money from the national party since I've been the chair. And let me tell you what's happened. In 2020, my first year as chair, when Obama ran against Mitt Romney, we lost by 18 percentage points. Fast forward 4 more years. In 2016, when Hillary ran against Trump, we lost by 9.5 points. We cut the margin in half. In 2020, when Trump ran against Biden, we lost by 5.5 points. We cut the margin in half again. This election, we can win this because we've got the numbers. There are more of us than there is of them. 42% of the state is Latino. 18% of the population is either African American or Asian American. If you add that puts us almost at 60%.
Terry, now, so you bring up a great point, and part of our coalition to win in Tarrant County is that is so important to victory is our Hispanic base and turning out our Hispanics, our Hispanic, neighbors. How can the Tarrant County Democratic Party continue to engage with our Hispanic base to ensure that Tarrant County turns blue?
Well, it's just like you won,
Mm-hmm.
Member. It's just like you won. There is no silver bullet here. It's the simple thing where you put your tennis shoes on and you start knocking on doors. And people say, I hear this from a lot of people all the time, and I've heard it for the years that I've been the chair. They say, well, we don't go into the Latino neighborhoods because I don't speak English. I don't speak Spanish. And I said, well, they speak English. They do. I'm sorry. Even the grandmas speak English. They can hear what you're saying. If you go in and go see them now and you remind them, I mean, if we know, look, if we know how to fix this, and we know how to fix it, right? The only reason Tarrant County is red, in my opinion, is because your Latinos are not voting, in my opinion. If they voted, if they participated in the electoral process, given the numbers that exist out there, Tarrant County would be blue. So what do? You put everything you got into getting them to go out and vote, because African Americans vote. They vote at huge numbers. They got a 75, 80-year-old history of a civil rights movement that focused solely on reaching equality and justice for all by getting people to go out and vote. That's what Martin Luther King did in the South. They got people registered, got them to go out and vote. When they started voting, they started winning. and it became part of your culture. It is your culture, in your culture, to vote. In my culture, it's not. And it is a problem. And it's very difficult to get people to go vote. It has to do with poverty. It has to do with education. It has to do with cultural factors that we need to understand how to deal with. If you get them to vote, and look, they just elected a woman president of Mexico with the highest turnout in the history of Mexico, right? They voted close to 90% of the voters in Mexico in this election to elect this woman president, a left-wing progressive woman. If that's where we come from, right where I'm sitting here, 6 blocks down the street is Mexico. That's how close we are there. If we get our folks to go out and vote, we win. That's what it's all about. That's where the dynamics are. They're hard. They don't want to go. They don't see why it's important for them. They don't see a benefit for them. But it's easy to convince them, because let me tell you something. In the state of Texas, the Republican Party has refused to adequately fund public education. They have refused to do this for the last 10 years. You know when that started to happen? When the majority of school children in the state of Texas were Hispanic and African American. Today in the state of Texas, close to 80% of all our children in our public schools are children of color. And the Republicans don't want to fund public education. Why? Because the most dangerous thing in the world for them is a well-educated Mexican American and African American. They don't want that. They want to keep us down, and the best way they can do it is to not fund education, and that's what the voucher system's all about. So if you go to them and you say, what's the most important thing to you? And there's a saying in Spanish that says, la herencia más grande que le puedes dejar a nuestros hijos es una buena educación. The biggest inheritance that you can leave our children is a good education. That is what we say all the time. But if they know that the people on the other side, the people in red, the people that are led by Mr. Orange, are trying to deprive their children of a quality public education, then that is an incentive for them to go to vote. Today in the state of Texas, and I just noticed Congressman Vesey is on the call, I believe so, and when Obama got elected, he created Obamacare, and you all know this, right? And Obamacare was supposed to provide healthcare, quality healthcare to all Americans, right? Part of that was Medicaid, and part of it was the insurance exchanges, right? But there was a middle group where low-income working-class people didn't qualify for Medicaid and didn't have the money to buy into the insurance exchange. That's about 1 million people in the state of Texas. We get the money.
Chairman Hinojosa, I hate to cut you off, because you're providing us some great information and our audience is gravitating to it. But we got to kind of move this along. We appreciate you taking out the time to come sit with Tarrant.
Let me finish this thought, Chair, and I'll pass it, okay? This is important. We received $10 billion a year. We could receive $10 billion a year to provide health care for this 1 million people. The Republicans rejected. Who's being deprived of this health care? If you're talking about getting Hispanics to go out and vote, they are an African American. So there's a lot of reasons why you convince them to go out and vote. You just got to go see him. Thank you, Tarrant County Democrats. I know y'all are going to do a great job, make us all proud, and help us turn the state blue.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for firing us up as always.
Thank you. Thank you. We did have some questions in the comment. One of the questions was, how do I get engaged? How do I get involved? What do I do now? We have the answer for you. If you go to the Tarrant County Democratic Party page and click on the volunteer link, we have a whole system set up for you. If you heard what our chairman said, Vice President Harris has an unlimited amount of volunteers who have come out of the woodworks to support her campaign.
She raised
over $200 million in the last 8 days. We can make those same strides right here in Tarrant County. The more we get mobilized and organized, we help the top of the ticket all the way to the bottom of the ticket. So if you check the link or the chat box on the YouTube page. There will be a link for you to sign up and volunteer. Pass that, share that link along. And let me tell you this, volunteering isn't as difficult as you think it is. You can commit 1 hour a week. You can commit 5 hours a month. Now, we only have 100 days, so you figure out how to get that done in the next 100 days. But we have so many opportunities at the Tarrant County Democratic Party office for you to be engaged and involved. And of course, in order to move this ship along, we need your funds. We're not
That's right.
asking for $200 million, but $2 and $3 will go a long way, wouldn't it? And when you were a candidate, Dr. Jerry Williams, did that
Listen, $2 goes a long way. When you think of text messages, costing 4, 5, 6, 7 cents per text message, $2 goes a long way to have conversations, authentic conversations with voters. And speaking of that, we have an amazing candidate who is looking for volunteers, Mark Clayton. She is a candidate for judge right here in Tarrant County in the Criminal District Number 2 Court. Mark, come on.
Hello, can you hear me and see me?
Hello. Yes, we can. We are
Oh,
so
good,
glad
good.
you were here to share time with us. We're so excited about your race. Can you tell the good folks watching on just a little bit about the importance of your race and the importance of this seat?
Absolutely. So I'm Mark Clayton. I am your next judge of Tarrant County Criminal District Court 2. That is one of the 11 felony courts here in Tarrant County. If you have turned on the TV to hear any news, I'm sure you've heard something about the Tarrant County Jail and the courts. There's an enormous backlog that's going on in our courts, which overflows over to the jail overcrowding issues. And so I am a candidate who is not only committed to ensuring that we are running effective and efficient dockets and making sure that people are getting their day in trial as swiftly as possible, but also ensuring that everyone who comes through the court gets a fair shake. And just administering justice with love is my goal for Tarrant County Criminal District Court 2. So that's a little bit about what I got going on. I'm so excited to be on here. I'm so excited about everything that we have going on. I'm so excited about our new anticipated presidential Democratic candidate. But it's just a wonderful time to be a Democrat. And so I'm happy to be able to join here today.
Indeed. Thank you for joining us. And just one last thing for the good folks who want to get connected with your campaign, how do they get in contact with you? Where can they find your website?
Absolutely. My website is Mark Clayton for Judge, and Mark is with the Q. So MARQ Clayton for Judge, all spelled out.com. Feel free to reach out to me by email. It's markforjudge@gmail. And then I'm Mark for Judge on all social media, which I do social media a lot. So you can catch me on there.
Awesome. Thank you, Mark, for running. We are so excited. 100 days, and we are going to be the wind behind yourself. So let's keep running through the finish line, sis.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Right on. I'm so excited about our next panel. We have an amazing group of Gen Z leaders, several in which, all of which I admire and look up to. And I am so honored to be able to introduce these next 3 panelists. My brother from another mother, Mr. Kendall Locke. He is someone that I deeply admire. We have had the privilege of working together. He served, right beside me at City Hall as one of the youngest district directors in the history of the city of Fort Worth. And he currently serves as Deputy Chief of Staff for Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. Kendall, welcome on, brother. We also have Haley Taylor Schlitz. She is an attorney and educator phenom, and she is now, correct me if I'm wrong, working for the Attorney General of Minnesota. Is that correct? Oh my gosh, so incredible. She is such an amazing rock star and a strong advocate for justice all across this country, and they got her start right here in Tarrant County. And then last but certainly not least, Emma. Emma is a reproductive rights activist and someone that I have followed quite a while. And so this amazing Gen Z panel is here to show you all some love and also to share a little bit about how we all can use our voice to mobilize young voters all across Tarrant County via our various platforms. And so if each one of you would just show some love to the audience and just share how we can continue to mobilize young people in this important election. And I'll pass it to Kendall. You go ahead first.
Thank you so much, Dr. J. And of course, glad to be with all of y'all, what I consider to be family. And first, let me say that none of my comments here today is reflective of my Black job. Although it is,
That part.
I don't know what a Black job is. I'm still trying to search and figure that out. But nevertheless, glad to be with y'all. Of course, have the amazing pleasure of working for our illustrious Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. But outside of that, of course, serve as president of the Tarrant County Black Democrats. And listen, I think that this is a pivotal election. I think we hear that all the time, that this is definitely the most important election of our lifetimes. But this is definitely the most important. This election is essentially a decision. It's a decision as to whether or not we're going to reject racism, or are we going to move into a place of having someone who has explicitly said that there is certain history that should not be taught. This is an election where we are going to continue to have the freedoms in which we enjoy to have, or will we go and move into a place of having more and more restrictive measures put on our lives? And so to Gen Z, to folks who are my age, I think it's about understanding that when you vote, you're not voting for your best friend. When you vote, you are voting for the person that is going to best represent the collective issues in which you care deeply about. Is the candidate or a candidate going to have or check every box? They're not, but that's life. Does your significant other check all of those boxes? When you're in school, does your friends check those boxes? They don't. And so this is a time where we seriously have to lock in and understand that for folks who are Gen Z, we're talking about being in our early 20s for the most part. We have a lot of life ahead of us, but that life, in terms of whether or not it's going to be a life that we enjoy, a life where we're going to have opportunities to succeed, we can seriously be in a very bad position if we decide to either not vote or, unfortunately, vote for the other guy. And let me tell y'all, the other guy's crazy. Like he is completely crazy.
Bonafide.
And so, just encouraging everyone to get out and vote. Ask the tough questions too. I think that, when you hear people or get on calls like this and we're encouraging you to get out and vote, that we're pushing you into a place of just, oh, I have to vote and I can't, ask or engage or whatnot. We want you to do that. And you should, of course, continue to apply pressure. A lot of folks who are in Gen Z are, we're the vocal voices. We're the people that, when George Floyd happened back in 2020, we were out in the streets. When even now, with the unfortunate passing or killing of Sonya Massey, folks going to that of social media to rally behind important criminal justice reform. When you make a vote, your vote is not reflective of diminishing your power to advocate. But it is to say that I recognize who needs to be at the helm of leadership. And so continue to use your platforms. Advocacy looks different for every person. Whereas I'm on my Black job, working for a United States Congress member, that is not to say that your advocacy can't look as though being in the streets protesting or being on social media or organizing events in your community. So make it personal. And I think that's what everyone would say on this call. And that's the bottom line of this. There is something that each of us has at our foundation, at our core, that will resonate with us for this respective election. And for the purpose of this election, of course, encourage everyone to get out for the vice president, because she is qualified, she is capable. Lead. She is fit to lead. And I know that on day one, she's going to ensure that we're continuing to move this country in the right direction. So get out and vote, y'all. And just glad to share the space with, of course, my great friends and you, Dr. J.
Yes, sir. Thank you, brother. Haley, justice is certainly on the ballot. And the implications of this election, as Kendall said, are far-reaching, especially for millennials and Gen Zers. How do we continue to engage young voters on issues in this election to motivate them to get to the polls?
No, I think it's a good question. I do want to start off, obviously, thanking you guys for having me. I think this is really important, a good conversation. We need to keep these kinds of mediums open so that way people can keep getting educated and fired up. Additionally, I will also add the disclaimer that my my views are mine and solely mine. I don't represent my employer and all of
Yes.
that. As Kendall very elegantly put it, I liked it. I liked it. But no, to get into the answer of the discussion, I think that, Kendall like left a really good bridge point into this question and into the expansion of where my mind was at when I was getting ready for this. I think, like he was saying, to make it intimate, to make it something that is not just a task that needs to be done on your to-do list. Get your friends out, make a day out of it, go out and vote, commit to getting 5 other people to vote or 3 other people to vote or your family or whatever, because it really does start with one person and it branches out from there. So I do really like what Kendall was saying about making it intimate, and to kind of like add on to that schools are also supposed to help students get registered to vote. If you're going to be 18 by November 5th of this year, you can register to vote. And you can vote. So to make sure that if as a student, because as Kendall said, a lot of Gen Z is early 20s, is still in school. And then those Gen Z that are in high school, you can get involved in your student organizations and, talk to the student government or whatever, the leadership at your school and make sure that, those booths are open to get people registered to vote, because that, again, it starts with one location, one group, one person, and it branches out from there. So those are a couple things. And also like these very important like websites, I know that earlier Crystal Gaydon was talking about, we have this website where you can go to find out information about volunteering. Check that out. Don't just be like, oh yeah, that's good to know. No. Like make action of that information. And same with votetexas.gov. Like make action of the dates, the information that's out there. You really want to utilize what's ready for you, because it takes a team to make it and it takes a team to use it. And I guess a couple last points that I would like to expand on that Kendall set up really well is the platform that we have in social media. In this day and age, we do have a lot of influence in our pools, and our community is expanded beyond our neighbor or who we're able to connect with in person. So I heard the tail end of the previous conversation about putting on your tennis shoes and getting your boots on the ground. But additionally, that can be done virtually as well, because there are a lot of people who they have jobs, families, or you may miss them when you are, tying up your sneakers and walking. And there's a lot of different people that you can reach and spread good information if you, create educational content and post that, or interactive sessions with Q&As, or work with influencers and get, in touch with their expansive, like maybe further than you could have reached because they have followers and likes and shares and things like that. Share your stories, your challenges, just really make it personal, kind of going back to where I guess we started, like making this personal, because voting is not just something that you check off on your to-do list. It's something that is it determines our future, honestly. And for me, I've seen a lot on social media about people complaining of, oh, we have these 2 people and they're both 80. Well, I mean, problem solved. So we have an amazing candidate, someone that we need to be ready to vote for. We need to be ready to support and encourage people to support local elections as well, because not only does that turn out voters for the bigger elections, but also all government and all politics is local. The things that are happening, you're not electing a dictator. That's not how, obviously, dictatorship works, and that's not how democracy works. You're not electing a dictator. We saw what happened when President Trump was in office. It wasn't just what he did, it's who he put on the Supreme Court and what they did, and how we're not able to control our bodies because of who we elected as president. You don't elect the Supreme Court, but you do elect presidents. So it's more than just, oh, I feel like my vote like doesn't matter, or I don't really care either way, they're both old. That's number one, not the point. Number two, we have an amazing candidate, And for me, like, I love seeing local events and grassroots mobilization. And I get super frustrated when people say they don't want to vote or they don't see how it's important, because they're the first to be on social media changing their banners or out protesting, which are incredibly important and valuable. But at the same time, if you're not going to speak up, you need to shut up. We need to go to the polls and we need to vote. And I'm just being honest that needs to be something that's of priority to you, because that's how the change, that's a huge way of how change is made, is the people who are in power and the people who can make those decisions. So it really just builds off of what Kendall was saying with social media being a huge element for young voters. That's where we live. That's how you reach them. But additionally, it's how you tackle problems big and small, whether it be Project 2025, which is really targeting Gen Z, for being honest. So that alone, but also the candidates that are on the ballot local and nationally. And so for me, like, something that I want to like kind of put, my actions where my mouth is, I want to pledge $5, and I kind of want to start this fuel the future $5 for progress type thing. So I call on my other Gen Zs, not just on the panel, but those who are watching the stream, those who see this recording later, who hear it from a friend. I think that we should pledge $5. Maybe don't get a drink with your meal or whatever it may be. Just $5 can, as you were literally saying, Councilman, make a huge difference. It can mean the difference between a win or a lose, but even on a smaller scale, texts and mailers and all the things. So,
and that's a great alley-oop. I commit to that, and I'm encouraging all of our Gen Zers watching to commit to $5 right now to the Tarrant County Democratic Party. I'm sure the link will be in the chat at some point, and so make sure you drop that $5 to our local Democratic Party. Haley, you brought up a really good point about how presidents get the opportunity in various spaces in their leadership to be able to appoint Supreme Court justices. And from the federal level all the way down to right here in Texas and Tarrant County, we've seen attacks on reproductive rights, on women's right to choose. And we've seen politicians inserting themselves into doctors' rooms in very intimate moments between women and their primary doctors. And Emma, you've been on the front lines of this work. How are you leveraging the momentum of so many women who are standing up against tyranny of this kind to say enough is enough, and to march and rally to the polls to ensure we elect Democrats to turn the tables on some of these really bad and egregious policy and court decisions?
Yeah, of course. So I started out through my reproductive justice movements. I had just turned 15. I'm an incoming senior in high school, so it's very fresh. I'm on the tail end of the Gen Z voter era. I actually won't even be able to vote this upcoming election, but I think that's why it's 10 times more important that I get out and do as much work as I do, is because there's opportunities for everyone. So I started out doing I spoke at the Tarrant County Courthouse. We were doing a the nationwide Women's March anniversary of the overturning of Roe v. Wade. And it's kind of unexpected to be scrolling on your Instagram feed and see a 15-year-old, speaking, yelling at people, not yelling at people, but, causing a commotion, a good commotion, good chaos.
Trouble.
Exactly, good trouble. And just being loud about certain issues that we weren't necessarily talking about. Since then, I think anytime I meet somebody new or I'm catching up with someone, it's one of the biggest talking points is they're curious about what work I'm getting into. And I think a lot of us are here for a reason. I'm preaching to the choir. We do as much work as possible, but somebody said it, but just being loud and being a big personality and understanding that it's so detrimental because of the decisions that are being made. Again, like Haley said, not solely through our president, but through his through their agenda and who they appoint. So what I'm excited about is basically what I've gotten the gist of is the younger side of Gen Z is live. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm scrolling through my feed and it's it's more like fun. I don't know. You'll see Planned Parenthood posting a meme about uh Kamala Harris brat like election. It's brat summer, Charlie XCX. I like Haley said, it's making it very personal. And I do a lot of mature work, but I'm still 17 years old. I'm having voter registration tables at our upcoming registration for the school year. And so, and like being being an election clerk, there's so much that we can be doing, and it's a taste of adulthood.
Right.
Because it's scary that like not only are we graduating, we're going to college. A lot of us are turning 18, and then we're taking on all of these responsibilities. But this is a priority
Yeah.
because nothing else matters if our freedoms are at stake.
And that is such a great point. We have a critical election, and we can't do it without amazing Gen Z leaders like you organizing all of our communities to show up to the polls. And so I know the audience right now is on fire for y'all. Thank y'all so much for the brilliance that y'all are bringing to this upcoming November election. And we are so grateful for the amazing work that y'all are doing.
And
Can I
Dr.
have
J,
one
I
more-
know,
Yeah, yeah.
I was gonna say real quick, I know we gotta move on, but I just want everyone like that's watching to like understand like what this panel represents while it is like Gen Z. Like
Yeah.
talking about in myself, you have the youngest deputy chief of staff ever in the United States Congress. You look at Haley, who is the youngest assistant attorney general, probably not just in the state of Minnesota, but like in the country.
In the country.
Talk about Emma, who like is killing the game and starting
Yeah.
to see like in her teens. And so I think that all goes to the foundational point of you're never too young to get involved.
That's
You're never
right.
too young to effectuate change. You're never too young to start breaking down barriers. And honestly, you're never too young to start being the change for monumental elections like the election that we're about to face in November. And so while yes, like you're seeing all of the great momentum, especially within like the Divine Nine, like it's also going to be like the folks of Gen Z, like it's going to be all of these coalitions coming together in order to make sure that the vice president is able to become our next president and ensure that we have the kind of leadership that's reflective of what we're wanting to see. But I just wanted to point out that because you don't get a panel like this all the time, and it goes to the point of when you have people who will put you in positions or who will believe in you
Yeah.
and create pathways of opportunity for you. It just shows you what can be done. And so Gen Z is really, the ball is really in our court, and we just have to be ready to play ball.
That's
Now,
right.
before y'all leave, y'all,
Can I-
I'm an old head, right? And I've been hearing this brat. I'm not quite sure why y'all calling my VP a brat. So explain to me what brat is and why y'all calling my VP a brat.
Go listen to Charlie XCX's new album. It is the vibe of the summer, our summer anthem. It's the vibes. I don't know. It's the name of the album.
Is it a good thing?
Oh, it's perfect.
It's positive?
Yes.
Okay.
Can I, before we hop off, I just want to echo for 5 seconds what Kendall was saying, because I really think that it's important for the viewers to take away the core of this panel is that
Yeah.
for Gen Z, like know that this is the time to rise and to speak up in a way that is important and is effective and impactful, but also for everyone, especially the Gen Z who are coming of age to vote. Like, if it wasn't important, they wouldn't be trying to take the right away. If
That's
it wasn't
right.
important, it never would have been fought for. And additionally, like I heard mentioned earlier at the tail end of the previous conversation, you hear people like Donald Trump talking about you'll never have to vote again. Have to. I mean, are we hearing the words like we have an amazing candidate and you're not just voting for one person, you're voting for the entire campaign, you're voting for the entire team, you're voting for the entire administration, and it's going to make a huge difference. So kind of like what Kendall was saying, the ball's in our court for Gen Z and for other generations, we are ready and we appreciate the work that you've done. We're excited to work with you. And I just think that I hope that that's what the viewers take away from this is there's a lot of opportunity to get involved regardless of your age. But Gen Z, we're here and we're ready.
Absolutely. Thank y'all so much for participating, and we look forward to all of the great things you're going to be doing in the next 100 days and the days thereafter, because it doesn't just end after November the 5th. We have to be prepared to keep
Right on.
momentum. So thank y'all, and go back to y'all Black jobs and represent us well here in Tarrant County. We appreciate it.
Much love, y'all.
Thank you.
And while we're bringing on the next panel, I'm going to go ahead and answer some questions that were in the comment box. Sustaining member, what's the minimum amount? There is no minimum amount. I believe that the Gen Zs just asked y'all to pledge $5 a month. That goes a very long way. So there is a link in your chat box. You can go ahead and become a sustaining member. The last day to register to vote in this election is October the 7th. If you will be 18 by election day, you can get registered to vote 17 years and 10 months before the election day. I'm sorry, let me repeat that. If you will be 18 on election day, you can get registered at 17 years and 10 months. So 2 months before your 18th birthday. Someone was interested in becoming a voter deputy registrar. You can go to the Tarrant County Elections Office to sign up to do that. I just became one just a few days ago. It's a very simple process. And Gen Zers are talking about TikTok. The Tarrant County Democratic Party is on TikTok. Go follow us. We got some great things happening over there. And I'm going to pass the mic to Councilman Williams to bring on the next panel.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm so excited to introduce our next panelist. It's none other than our Congressman Mark Vesey, representing the Texas 33rd District. Congressman Vesey, how are you doing today?
He had to leave, y'all, but he said follow all of his social media links because there's some good information coming down the pipeline starting tomorrow about our presidential nominee Harris. And so Mark Vesey, representing a great portion of all of Tarrant County.
Yeah.
The U.S. Senate. Y'all follow his socials. Y'all know he's been instrumental in supporting our nominee and all of the great things he does in Tarrant County. Unfortunately, time got ahead of us today, but he was on the call. So I want to make sure that we shout him out. He was on the call.
He was on here. I literally just saw him.
We saw him. We saw him on the call. He was on the call. He just had to step away to take care of some other duties. But we still have a great panel, don't we?
Yes, we do. Let's keep it rolling then. I am so excited also to bring someone that we all know and love to talk about the future of Tarrant County, none other than Miss Wendy Davis. Wendy, are you on the call?
Hello, Councilman. How are you? Yes,
Good.
I'm on the call and thrilled to be here with everybody. I apologize for my very casual appearance.
No,
I'm
I
in
love
Colorado right now. With my daughter and granddaughters, and we just spent the day doing a lot of fun things, and so not as professional as I would normally like to be on a call like this, but thanks for having me.
Hey, it's Sunday. It's a Sunday fun day. You are fit for the occasion. So we would love to hear from your wisdom and your experience about just how important this upcoming November election is to folks right here in Tarrant County.
Yeah, I think I have, such a good perspective on this because I won my state Senate seat in Tarrant County in 2008. And I think a lot of us would probably agree that we haven't been this excited about a presidential candidate on the Democratic ticket since 2008. I feel so much joy right now. And I think everyone is feeling that way, just an excitement and enthusiasm that hasn't been present for us in a while in, presidential politics. And that's not to, of course, disrespect our president, who has been truly one of the great presidents of our lifetimes and in history, actually. But there's just something so wonderful about the opportunity to elect someone like Kamala Harris. And Tarrant County really showed up, you guys, in 2008. And that's what I want to talk a little bit about. So the seat that I won had been held by a Republican for like 16 years. So it was a big old, like 6'5" man named Kim Breimer, who had a shock of white hair, and he was a cigar chomping kind of a guy. And he was sort of the quintessential Texas Republican, you know, when you think about the person in the back room making the deal, right?
Yeah.
And nobody thought that I could beat him. Nobody did. And I'm so glad that we were talking about Congressman Veazey a minute ago, because at the time, Congressman Veazey was the state representative, and he represented Southeast Fort Worth, which was a big part of this particular Senate district. And Mark had, you know, a very safe seat. He didn't need to worry about whether he was going to get reelected, but he was out there working every day to try to make sure that he was turning out the vote so that it would benefit me and so that it would benefit Barack Obama. And it was just a beautiful example of what can happen when people who are already in office, even if they've got safe seats, the power that they have to be a part of really delivering for Tarrant County. And I don't know if Chris Turner has spoken yet, Representative Chris Turner.
Not yet.
But I know he's on this call, and Chris and I were both on the ticket at the same time. He was running for the state house at the time. Both of us running in Tarrant County. Nobody thought either of us was going to flip the seats that we flipped, but we flipped them because Tarrant County showed up.
Yeah.
And it was just so incredible. And such a great example of what can happen when we all come together and exercise our power.
Right on. Thank you so much, Wendy. You inspire all of us. Tarrant County will go blue, and you have clearly shown us the blueprint. All it takes is each one of us doing our part. Even if we think that our part is small, it makes a huge difference in this election. And so Wendy is certainly going to be doing her part. I'm certainly going to be doing my part. And we are calling on you to certainly do your part in this upcoming election. Thank you, Wendy, for your service to our community. And I look forward to seeing you out there on the road to November.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for everything that you do.
Yes, ma'am.
You may not have been on the call when we first started, but I made this alliteration that I heard all the in the background, right? It's different when you're on Zoom. You can't hear anybody but the people you're on the Zoom with. But let me tell you, the chat box is screaming, Wendy, Wendy, Wendy,
It's
Wendy.
lit.
We're so excited to hear from you. I'm having a fangirl moment right now.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that you got the opportunity to join us. Your legacy in Tarrant County is unmatched. We love you.
Y'all are so sweet. Thank you.
We love you. We love you. We love you. And thank you for your continued support. And we're gonna do right by Tarrant County.
That's right.
We're gonna make you proud.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Much love, Wendy.
Much love back to all of you.
Thank you.
Awesome. We have an amazing panel coming up, Crystal. We have some of our amazing Tarrant County elected officials who are coming on to motivate us about the importance of down ballot races. And so I want to invite some of our elected officials, Representative Chris Turner, Representative Salman Bojani, our very own Tarrant County Commissioner Elisa Simmons, and Constable Sandra Lee. Hi, friends. How are y'all doing? Please, share with the good people out in the audience about the importance of our down ballot races right here in Tarrant County for the November election.
Great. Good evening, Dr. Williams, Councilman. Thank you
sir.
much. Any particular order you want us to go in?
No, y'all have the floor, however y'all want to do it.
All right. Well, since Wendy was just talking about me, I'll jump in first. If that's all right. It was
on.
great to see and hear Wendy's voice. And it's funny. I was thinking before she even said that, same thing. She and I both ran in 2008 in long Republican held districts. 20 years longer. Yeah, you talked about it earlier, and but there was a lot of excitement that year because of Barack Obama running for president, and that was a big part of it. But it wasn't all of it. We were, as I said, in Republican held districts, but both of which eventually the Republican nominee carried in that race, even as President Obama was going on to win the election. We won by doing the work in, door to door, making the phone calls, talking to voters where they were, being at the polls during early voting when you had a massive turnout and people had to wait in line. So you had plenty of opportunity to talk to people and earn their vote. And we had great volunteers to help us do all of that work. And that's how we won those tough races in 2008. That's how Beverly Powell won a tough race in 2008. That's how my friend Commissioner Simmons, who's on the Zoom with us, won 2 years ago, beating an entrenched Republican. So we know this can be done. And we have done it in Tarrant County. Constable Sandra Lee has done it, defeating a Republican incumbent. We got to do it again, this time in a bigger and better way. And I know Representative Bojani and I, along with our colleagues, Representative Romero and Collier, are committed to doing our work to turn out our districts to benefit the entire Democratic ticket. We have to, in addition to electing Kamala Harris as the next president of the United States, because there is nothing more important, we have got to win Tarrant County for Colin Allred. If Colin carries Tarrant County by a good margin, he has a very, very good chance of winning this election and sending Ted Cruz home for good. And we have a chance to elect Patrick Moses as our next Tarrant County sheriff and send Bill Wayburn home, which Lord knows we need to do. And we have the opportunity, and we must reelect Constable Lee running in Southeast Tarrant County, and we have to reelect Constable McGinty also running in Southeast Tarrant County. So those are the races I'm focused on. I'm committed to doing my part to turn out House District 101 in partnership with those great candidates I mentioned. I know Commissioner Simmons is going to be out there working too. So I'm excited. We got 100 days. Let's go.
Let's go. I'm fired up. Representative Salman Bojani, share a few words with the audience about the importance of this race.
Sure. No, thank you so much, Dr. Williams and Councilman for that. Howdy, Tarrant County Democrats. I don't know about y'all, but I'm really excited what we have chances for this November for our party. My name is Salman Bojani, and I'm so honored to represent East Tarrant County at the Texas Capitol. It's been an honor representing all of y'all. And thank you to Chairwoman Crystal Gaydon and Councilman Williams for organizing this event. And it's a pleasure to be with y'all. I feel honored to be on this panel with such esteemed elected officials.
Right on.
So much at stake, and along with my Democratic colleagues, as Representative Turner said, in Tarrant County, Representative Chris Turner, Representative Nicole Collier, and Representative Ramon Romero. I'm really excited and thrilled to endorse our Vice President Kamala Harris to be our next President of the United States of America. In fact, my entire family is getting ready to go to Chicago this August to cast our votes for Vice President Harris at the Democratic National Convention. And I hope to see some of you there. Vice President Harris is the exact person we need in the White House during this critical point in the American history. We need someone who will put an end to the divisive politics of the Trump era, and someone who will fight back against hatred, bigotry, and reactionary politics in all its forms. We cannot risk our democracy or civil liberties or even reproductive choice for that matter. The time is now for our united Democratic Party to truly come together and get to work to defeat MAGA extremism and send Vice President Kamala Harris to the White House. But let me say this, I'm not just excited about the top of the ticket. I'm equally excited about down ballot, Tarrant County Democrats, right? The new energy that Vice President Kamala Harris brings to our party is just what's needed in Tarrant County to ensure that we bring all Democrats, independents, and moderate Republicans out to vote all the way down the ballot. That's important. We need to remember that. And now more than ever, we desperately need local elected officials who will fight for civil liberties, reproductive rights, and our democracy. And it's imperative that we have folks at every level in the government, from city council, school board trustees, all the way to the president, so that we can hold our values. I want to give a big shout out to our outstanding Democratic candidates who are working so hard, like Denise Wilkerson, Mark Clayton, Patrick Moses, Laura Lehman, Roderick Miles, Councilman, obviously Jared Williams, Constable Sandra Lee was on the call with us today, Constable McGinty, Congresswoman VC, and my mentor, Representative Chris Turner. Folks, in conclusion, I want to just say, let's get to work, and you can definitely count on me to turn out House District 92 residents in a big way so that Tarrant County can stay blue. Thank you.
Wow, the crowd is going crazy right now for our amazing state representatives, Representative Turner, Representative Ojani. You make us all proud. Thank you for what y'all do every election, but especially this election, to make sure that Tarrant County goes blue in November. We also have some amazing local elected officials that are working on our behalf right here in Tarrant County. I mean, I want to pass the ball over to our Commissioner Lisa Simmons. Would you please give the crowd some amazing advice on how we can turn Tarrant County blue right here, right now, this November?
We need to harness the enthusiasm that is out there nationwide. I am excited, super excited these past 8 days because I need help locally. And enthusiasm nationally has got me to thinking if the enthusiasm permeates locally, I can see change. I can have help here at the county level. I am interested in a new sheriff. We have got to have a new sheriff. There are no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We have got to elect Laura Lehman, Tarrant County Commissioner, Precinct 3. I need help on that commissioner's court. If you can't count to 3 up there, then what are we doing? And so let me tell you why it's important. We've had 67 deaths in that jail since that current sheriff has been elected. Okay, the deaths continue and continue. And it's not just the jail, it's MHMR, JPS. So we need to make changes, be looking at all 3 of those entities. And I've already identified changes that need to be made, but I can't do it. We can't do it with 2 votes. We've got to have 3 votes. You all are probably familiar with our Commissioners Court having stripped Girls Incorporated of funding. Well, we recently did the same exact thing with the juvenile department. We have severed a contract that is ending services for students, those youth, their family psychological testing classes. We've stripped that funding. It wasn't the court. It was the juvenile board with the county judge as the only member of the court who is on that board. So all those services go away. And because the vendor that we've used for 30 years, who has a 98% approval rating from previously from all the judges that make up the juvenile board, it's because that vendor's website has the words diversity, systemic racism. It has quote unquote woke language. And so the county judge and the judiciary that make up that juvenile board ended that contract and told the vendor, you know what, change your some of your language and we may consider giving the contract back to you. That is what we have to deal with in this county. And I haven't even talked about elections. If you enjoy county-wide vote centers, get ready because those might go away. I have received, and I'm sure Commissioner Brooks has received, probably close to 300-400 emails from folks who want to go back to precinct voting. Okay. And so if that's a decision the Commissioner's Court makes, it'll go back to precinct voting because we can't count to 3.
Yeah.
So, and redistricting, I am 99% sure that this court will attempt to redistrict my precinct 2. So those are things we are faced with at the county level. And so while I'm excited about Kamala Harris, I am more hopeful and excited that we will see the bounce down ballot. We've got to re-elect Constables Lee and McGinty. We've got to get Laura Lehman elected and Pastor Patrick Moses elected sheriff.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Simmons, for fighting the good fight on the court. We are so grateful to have you as a commissioner and grateful for the way that you stood up on every issue that affects our communities, whether it be from protecting our healthcare system, JPS, our only level 1 trauma and public healthcare provider right here in Tarrant County. You've stood up when our judge told you to sit down and be quiet. And that was certainly not okay and not of decorum. And you will continue to stand up, and you give us an important call to action, ensure that we get you some help in electing Laura Lehman to the Tarrant County Commissioner's Court and ensure that we have a majority. So thank you for continuously and always fighting for our values, our vision, and our community. Thank you for your service. Constable Lee, can you please tell us also about just how important it is that we turn folks out for down ballot races, particularly those like our Tarrant County constable elections?
Well, it's very important. I don't think a lot of people understand what the constable office represents, but we are out in a community. We are really changing lives. And so we need to make sure that we have the right people in those positions to look after. We have so many Sonia Massey's going on that we need law enforcement who will speak out when those kind of killings happen. So it's so important that we get Tarrant County blue. We have a lot of voters in Tarrant County that hold grudges. We need to stop it. We need to stop it. We hear VP Harris being accused of all kind of things. She's putting people in jail. She was putting people in jail. A lot of them deserve to be in jail. Let's just be honest. And we will use that just so we don't have to vote for her when she is overqualified. People didn't think I was qualified to run my office, but I am running the hell out of my office. And can't nobody say that I'm not. When women are in charge, we bring a whole new perspective to these offices. And people need to realize that, and they need to get their asses out, and they need to make sure these people vote. Because if they don't, not only we're going to be in jail, we're going to be up under the jail because we have a fool on the Republican ticket. And I am so sick and tired of our people being against one another. There's nothing wrong with voting for her just because she's Black. They vote for people just because they white all day, every day. She is qualified. She is a woman. She just happened to be Black woman, Asian woman. She is the best candidate that we have to run this company. And we need to stop being assholes and get behind her. People, I've donated to her campaign. I believe in her. And I'm going to do everything I can to get her elected, along with Laura Lehman and along with Roderick Miles, along with Ebony Turner, Carlos. I'm going to get out there and be working, because when I ask people for support, they say, well, I don't live in your district, but you know somebody who do. And we need to start contacting everybody that we know in Tarrant County, letting them know who's running and getting them out to vote. Hey, y'all are doing a great job. Crystal, Candace, keep up the great work. And thank y'all for giving me this opportunity.
Right on. Thank y'all so much. I am fanboying right now, Crystal. I know you were fangirling earlier, but this panel has been so amazing. Thank y'all so much, each of you, for your service to the residents of Tarrant County. And let's go get them in November.
Absolutely. Thank you to my Tarrant County electors. I just want to make sure everybody in the audience saw the diversity of the
Yes, come on.
Tarrant County. We have the best of the best, and we are prepared to give you more elected officials who represent you, that represent your communities, that represent your ideals. It's not just a one-size-fits-all approach over here at the Tarrant County Democratic Party. We have diversity in our thinking and in our processes, and we need you to get on board. And yes, y'all know I love my Constable Sandra Lee. I don't even live in that precinct.
Listen.
But that's my constable too, Constable Sandra Lee. And if you don't live in her precinct, if you don't live in County Commissioner Precinct 2 or in District 101, where Chris Turner represents us, doesn't matter. We need representation across Tarrant County. And
That's right.
So please be sure to support all of our candidates. And if your money don't stretch like that, because mine doesn't either, you can always simply donate to the Tarrant County Democratic Party, and we will make sure that our efforts go to support everyone at the top and at the bottom of the ticket. I want to give a shout out to the Tarrant County Democratic Women's Club.
I love that shirt, sis. Come on.
Right. This is one of my favorite clubs. They always show up and support. If you are watching this and you are a member of the Tarrant County Democratic Women's Club, drop us something in the comment box. Let us know that you're here. Don't forget to sign up to volunteer. Don't forget to do your pledge of $5 a month. And y'all, but before we bring on this next and final panel, I do want to give an opportunity for one of our candidates to come on and give our words. Denise Wilkerson, she's been holding on for a long time. And so we want to give her an opportunity to speak. She's running for one of our state rep positions. She may not be representing you, but she's going to be representing the county. And so y'all get out there and support her. Denise for HD 94. Welcome.
Hey, Denise.
Thank you guys for inviting me to participate in this. If I look a wreck, it's because I spent 2.5 hours out there today block walking.
That's what I'm talking about.
And so I'm still dripping a little bit. And but the amazing thing is my team is so excited to get out there and knock on doors, because when we knock on doors now, the enthusiasm is contagious. We didn't have enough signs. I put 4 signs in the back of the car thinking that would be enough for the randos that we were knocking on their doors, but no, it wasn't enough signs. So people are excited about voting for the Democratic ticket in November. And I just want to add on to what Gilbert Hinojosa said about Tarrant County being the most important county in the state. Well, if Tarrant County is the most important county in the state, then my district, HD 94, is the most important district in the county, because the latest pollster said there's only a 1-point spread in my district, Republican, Democrat. And all we have to do is get out the votes. And even before Kamala was announced, I had 4,000 new voters in my district that I am calling, because I'm block walking on weekends, but during the week I'm phone banking. And when we're calling these new voters, we're finding out they're Democrat or Republican. And when we do get to talk to them, it's amazing how excited they are to know that there are Democrats running in Tarrant County that they can get behind and support. So anyhow, and the other thing that happened is postcard writing. We write postcards in the afternoon. It used to be I'd have 5 or 6 women show up to write postcards. Now I'm getting 14, 16 showing up to write postcards to voters and in Tarrant County. Let them know.
Come on.
They need to vote on the Democratic ticket. So thank you for letting me speak. And I need more volunteers, more money.
More.
Denise, how do they get a hold of you? What's your social media and your website?
I am on all the social media platforms at Denise for FOR 94, and my website is denisefor94.com.
Awesome. Fantastic.
Real quickly, Denise, for those of us who don't necessarily, that may not know, what House district we're in or anything like that, what cities does that encompass?
Is my map handy? The thing about my district is it used to be Arlington's representative, but now it's only 22% Arlington. It also includes all of Pantego and Dalworthington Gardens, but then it goes north all the way to Colleyville. So it has Hurst, Euless, Bedford. I have a tiny bit of Fort Worth. I have a tiny bit of Grand Prairie. And so there's about 9 cities altogether that have a precinct in my district. But the thing that makes my district exciting for Commissioner Simmons is the northern half of my district. I share it with Laura Lehman. So we've been campaigning together up in Hurst, Euless, Bedford. So we're coordinating. We're going to get out the votes so that we can get your 3rd Democratic commissioner.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Denise. We appreciate you. Get some rest, cool off, and we'll see you in the streets tomorrow.
That's right.
Have a good one. Thank you.
Take care, Denise.
One question in the chat box is how can we get candidate info for block walking? Stay tuned. Those door hangers are at print. They will be out and available to you at the Tarrant County Democratic Party office. We've got to put those literature in people's hands. It can't sit in our office in boxes. And so if you want to help us organize and mobilize, sign up in the volunteer link, and then we will get some literature to you to help your block walking efforts. Y'all, we are almost done, but we could not leave y'all.
Yes.
We could not leave y'all without this next panel. If y'all know anything about community and grassroots and all the things that got Obama elected, these are the people that you want to hear from. And I'm gonna have another fangirl moment.
Come on.
I'm gonna let you introduce one panel member, Dr. Williams, but I'm gonna have to introduce this one because she is the mother, the auntie.
All right.
She is the auntie of doing things big in Tarrant County. And if you don't know her name, where you been at?
Where you been at?
The amazing, the
incomparable,
the incomparable Deborah Peoples is joining us today, y'all. Yes, y'all might as well go into your seat because we know she about to bring some amazing information that y'all can take it with you and go ahead and get started first thing in the morning. Y'all, this is what y'all want to hear right here. Who you got coming next to her?
Well, I'm gonna I don't know if I can beat that, but I sure am gonna try. Hi, Aunt Deborah, love you. I have the distinct privilege of introducing my brother. He is a community organizer extraordinaire and someone I admire a whole heck of a lot, none other than Alex Montalvo.
Yes.
Come on.
Yes. When we think about grassroots in Tarrant County, this is the face of
This is
grassroots in Tarrant County. Thank y'all for joining us. We appreciate it.
Well, Alex, I think they only put me on here because I'm the old person out here. But they brought youth and all kinds of stuff, and they put me on here because I'm the elder. But that's okay.
Listen.
But I'm going to read something real quick, and I'm going to make this fast. But I put something on Facebook, and it said, "Why am I so vocal? Why do I risk alienating people I care about? Because someday my granddaughter, who will be 6 tomorrow, Jared, they grow fast.
They do.
Will ask me, what did you do when all this was going on?
Yeah.
And I need to be able to tell her, I fought, baby. I fought hard. I've been at this, and I wish Emma was still here, because I've been at this since I was 16 years old and I went to college and I couldn't even vote. And I worked in my first presidential campaign. I know that when we take our eye off the ball, things happen. And my generation, took its eye off the ball. We had the Voting Rights Act. We had all kinds of things that happened. And we started to think, Crystal, Chair, that we had arrived. And we took our eye off the ball, and Republicans started organizing, and they got in back rooms, and they came up with nefarious, dastardly plans to take away hard-fought freedoms. And that is why I am still out there fighting, because when we stop looking at the past, we start losing. And so I am asking everybody on this call, and I love seeing Elisa Simmons and Sandra Lee. I mean, I love seeing everybody, but I love courageous people. We have to be willing to open our mouths and speak out. Candace, I see you over there. You're looking serious, but this is what it's about. It's about being courageous. We don't want to run for just a job. We are running for leadership and to turn this ship around. And so I'm going to tell people, be courageous. You got to be willing to go down in the projects. You got to be willing to knock on doors. I have people say, well, I'm afraid to go in the projects. Why? They're people who look like us. And those are the people we need to get to the polls. So I'm going to keep on walking. I'm going to keep on talking, because when my grandbaby looks at me, she ain't going to have to hear me say, I fought hard. She going to say, Grandma, you look rough. You've been in the fight. Because I believe that's how we make changes. And Kamala Harris wouldn't be here today if she hadn't been courageous enough to run for president 4 years ago. Nobody thought she could win, but she got out there just like Barack Obama. When nobody thought he could win, they were courageous enough to take it to the streets. And that's what we as Democrats have to do, is be willing to take it to the streets, not worry about what people say about us. And that's how we're going to win in November. So I'm done. The old lady has spoken.
And she has spoken well.
Well,
Thank you.
wonderfully well.
Alex, I know that may be difficult. You know, sometimes I hated when I was on the campaign trail with her.
Lord.
Because she was still the thunder. So
Been there.
Go ahead. The floor is yours.
Well, there's been a lot of great comments made today, a lot of great excitement, enthusiasm, and inspiration. And as we gather tonight together to unite in Tarrant County, it is important to recognize and celebrate and support a force that is often unseen yet deeply felt in our communities. A force driven by dedicated individuals who work tirelessly to bring about change from the ground up. I'm talking about our grassroots organizers. I have the privilege to connect and collaborate with grassroots organizers across Tarrant County, Texas, and our country. These are people who recognize the power of collective action. They understand that real change doesn't just happen in the halls of government or within corporate offices. It begins with everyday citizens coming together, sharing their stories, and standing up for what they believe in. An example of that is the work that has been happening at our Tarrant County Commissioner's Court that Commissioner Simmons shared, which has a meeting Tuesday, August 6th at 10 a.m. that I encourage folks to show up to and sign up to speak. Grassroots organizers, community leaders, faith leaders, and impacted families have been showing up meeting after meeting to fight for accountability around the Tarrant County jail deaths and mistreatment of those that are detained.
Yeah.
The jail system is run by an extremist sheriff that we have the opportunity to vote out of office in November. They have been fighting to prevent several attempts by County Judge O'Hare, who has been making every opportunity he can to suppress the vote, including the mentioned attempt to eliminate countywide voting. Grassroots organizers were there on the front lines in front of the courthouse and getting the information out in the media to share that County Judge Tim O'Hare and Sheriff Wayborn accepted money from a PAC that collaborates with literal Nazis right here in our backyard in Fort Worth and Tarrant County. You see, grassroots organizers are the lifeblood of our democracy. They mobilize communities around common causes, amplify voices that might otherwise go unheard, and demand accountability from those in power. Their work is not glamorous or easy. It requires patience, resilience, and an unwavering commitment to justice that goes beyond just an election cycle and touches on tough topics and tough conversations. But make no mistakes, grassroots organizing is incredibly effective. It has been the driving force behind some of the most significant social movements in history, from civil rights to environmental protection and more. Yet, despite their crucial role, many grassroots organizers struggle to receive the recognition and resources they deserve. This is where we as Tarrant County, a collective, can come in to change that. By supporting these individuals and organizations, we can help ensure that their voices continue to be heard, their efforts are sustained, and their impact amplified. It is important that in this moment, we bring everyone to the table to collaborate and share resources. It is up to us to invest in the change needed in Tarrant County. That means the money and resources need to spread to all corners of this work, not just for the media and mailers and some of those other ways that we see a lot of expenses go to. We need efforts like Tarrant for Change that work to bring grassroots organizers, community leaders, creatives, small businesses, and more to collaborate and build power to impact the community. Major collaborations are happening, like the Movements for the Soul effort, where August 3rd, over 40 creatives are coming together to help support local Tarrant County community members and families that have their own families impacted by what is happening in the Congo, Sudan, and Palestine. It is these type of efforts and many, many more led by grassroots organizers that provide us an opportunity to engage and connect with communities often missed by the traditional electoral cycle of outreach. So let's stand together in solidarity with our grassroots organizers. Let's provide them with the tools, training, and funding they need to keep fighting for a better world. Because when we invest in grassroots organizing, we're not just supporting individual causes or campaigns, we're strengthening the very fabric of our democracy. Remember, change doesn't trickle down. It bubbles up from the groundswell of people who refuse to accept things as they are. That's the essence of grassroots organizing. And that's why it's so important that we support them every step of the way. And I appreciate all of the work everyone is doing to make change happen in the corners that they're doing the work in. And it's only through us doing it together will we be able to truly have a Tarrant County that is a space where people of diverse communities can thrive and have lives and families and careers and opportunities that make our world a truly better place.
Amazing.
Amazing.
I would drop the mic, but I still have words to say, but I appreciate I appreciate
I'm
everything.
gonna pass it on. There you go.
I appreciate everything that both of
Listen.
you brought to the panel. We still got people who are fired up in our chat box, so thank y'all so much. We know how to reach you, Auntie. Do you got another way how we reach you? You know, what you got coming up next? How do we support all the things?
So I think you know, Chair, we are working now trying to help you with the Opalee Empowerment Luncheon. We would like to get Vice President Harris to Tarrant County.
That's right.
We are we're going to pull out all the stops. I think we can raise the dollars. We have to raise money for the down ballot, but I think we could also raise money for Vice President Harris. And let's get her back here. She's been here before, and I think getting her here would really energize our electorate.
Absolutely. I 1,000% agree with that and will support those efforts. Alex, how do we reach you?
So I'm going to drop a link in the chat here that can be dropped in the YouTube chat as well. There are numerous grassroots efforts happening. And instead of spending the next 30 minutes listing all of them to everyone here, the best thing folks can do is indicate their interest, and we will follow up with you and get you connected to the right effort that is what we can, after talking to you, identify is the right effort for you to get plugged into. So there's going to be numerous block walking, phone banking, text banking, of course, but it's about key community events and collaborations that are going to be happening in these next 100 days that we want to make sure people are plugged into who have those interests. So that interest form is the best thing you can do so we can connect with you.
Okay, so we will make sure that we get that dropped in the YouTube chat box. We appreciate y'all once again. We know that y'all are hitting the payments and making the calls and knocking on the doors and doing all the things that we need to make sure that we win on November the 5th. So thank y'all. We appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing y'all in the streets as well.
Absolutely. Thanks, y'all. Let's do it.
See y'all soon. When we organize, we win.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. And y'all, we are about to wrap up. We got a couple more presentations. Y'all saw in all of our panels the diversity represents Tarrant County. And so we want to make sure that we are inclusive of all voices, all walks of life, because that's what our electeds look like. That's what those persons who are asking for your vote, they look like and what they stand for. And I want to personally bring on someone special and dear to me. We work together in this capacity. She serves as the executive director for the Tarrant County Democratic Party, and she's going to be bringing a perspective to us all that includes the diversity and inclusivity that we as Democrats believe so strongly in. And so I had to take the fire from you, Dr. Williams, because
no, it's okay.
Right here is personal to me, this one right here. And so without further ado, Candace Sublett.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. I forgot to change my little thing there. So I am Candace Sublett. I'm the executive director here at the Tarrant County Democratic Party. I appreciate County Chair Crystal Gayden for allowing me the opportunity to work for her. This is the first opportunity that I've been able to work for a woman and or a Black woman where there is not competition, there is not a problem. And I am so appreciative that she is not dramatic. We both are probably super bland together, and that works out well for what it is we do. So
Candace,
county
that's not
chair.
what I mean.
No, I mean, bland, like we don't get moved by what's going on.
We don't.
You know, because
Like,
we like seasoning though. That's what I was
well, yeah,
trying to figure
no, we got
out.
seasoning. But like when things happen, everybody's like knee jerk to react. And so we both are like, okay, how are we going to get through this? What do we need to do? We
Yeah.
need to take the time to get through it. And so that's what I mean by bland. Like we're not just always fiery. We were strategic at what we do. And I appreciate working for someone who is strategic, who thinks 20 times like I do all over the place. So thank you for that. But I am going to be speaking about something that I will be honest with you that I am speaking about for the first time ever. I am going to be speaking about the LGBTQ perspective when it comes to the Democratic Party and what I've noticed here in Tarrant County. I've been very quiet on this issue, one, because I was one of those late to life queer people that actually came out to their parents in their early 30s. So a lot of like my wife, she came out like in high school and she lived in Texas. I lived in Missouri. I came out in my early 30s. And so it took me a lot of learning to be just right here talking about any LGBTQ. I'm not good with the policies. I'm gonna be honest, y'all, like anything that they send out, I'm trying to read and catch up on. I'm really trying to be an advocate and a voice. Less of the organizing, less of the policy part, but more so just providing a safe space for LGBTQ here in Tarrant County. I went to speak at an event yesterday, and I'm going to show y'all a video of how it moved me this morning with the liberal ladies. And in Bedford. And so it was no drinking. Like I think only 2 or 3 drinks that were there because everybody's like, oh, the liberal ladies, events are all about drinking. No, they were happy. They were there for lunch. They were talking about different issues. And so at the very end, I met a woman named Tia, who is an ally to our LGBTQ community. And so in our discussion, she just broke down and I'm like, ma'am, I just met you. Like you're here in tears. And so she, is Fort Worth, born and raised, but her activism is in Dallas. And so I asked her, why does she have to go to Dallas to be an activist? And so she immediately started crying about a location that was burned down about 10 or 11 years ago here in Tarrant County. And so, like I told her, I said, well, you know what I do, and I'm here to at least create a safe space. I told her about a couple of organizations, one that came up under attack by GOP County Chair Beau French, which was Finn's Place. And so Denise Wilkerson, candidate for House District 94, sent that out in her email newsletter that week shortly after it happened. So most of us would become aware, and I appreciate it because the first thing that I did was pick up the phone and call my wife. But from after listening to Tia, I just wanted to put out here to every person who considers themselves queer, LGBTQ, you don't know what you are, you're still trying to figure it out. You may have some gender identification. It took me about 4 or 5 years to figure out where I was on the spectrum of colors here. And then probably 3 or 4 more years to actually be comfortable with that. And so I thank Crystal for allowing me to put in my few minutes that are going to be longer than a few minutes. But I wanted to share a video. This is what the conversation yesterday moved me to making this morning. And let me tell you this, I looked at my TikTok just not too long ago. My notifications are off the charts. I don't know if I've had this much success on TikTok in probably 2 or 3 years. So let me get it going here for you. What's attached? Oh. Yeah. All right. Can y'all see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh,
We just gotta hear it.
Can y'all hear it?
No.
No. Let me get my volume together. Sorry. This is the one thing about live stream. We can always take our time to redo things.
Is it more so the caption we need to read or the music?
The caption.
Okay. Thank you.
And so I wanted to share that video because that's what I was moved with. That's what I took away from that meeting. That's what I took away from this woman who is an ally. She lives near a few places I was like, here's a safe space for LGBTQ. Here's another safe space in Tarrant County. And just one thing she said to me, and that's why I posted that video, was because they're hiding in Tarrant County. We are hiding. And I was told 2 years ago when I first started working here that I was the trifecta. I'm Black, I'm woman, and I'm queer. And I didn't understand how to utilize those because I've been utilizing the Black thing for all my life. The woman thing, I was still figuring out. I got that together because I'm an advocate for women, but how do I be an advocate for my queer community? And so that's why I was like, you know what? I need to be a safe space for us here in Tarrant County. And so that's what I appreciate my county chair for allowing me to do that, but as well to be an advocate for us here in Tarrant County. So if you would like, contact me here at the Tarrant County Democratic Office. You can Google it. You got our address, you got our website, you got our phone number. Let me know if you have any problems, solutions, if you're homeless. There are many organizations that I'm a part of that I go to. If your parents put you out, because that seems to be an issue, I'll be honest with you. When I told my parents, my daddy wanted to keep eating his dinner and my mama was just confused, but they have done nothing but support me from the beginning. That does not happen in every family. But I'm going to make a quick pivot because I know the chair is going to ask me to do that. So one thing that I want to really get out about getting our voice out there is a lot of people ask, what is it that we can do? Okay, not everybody's going to knock on doors. Not everybody's going to canvas. And that's just not in your makeup, but you still have some expertise you can give. So on Friday, August 2nd, we will be releasing voter education kits. These voter education kits will show you how to door knock, show you how to set up events, show you, just to set up a voter registration. If you're not a VDR, you can just set up a voter registration check just to get people aware of that they need to go get their information updated, whether it's their address or just they took you off the rolls. And so we will have these different ones. There's a postcard one that I am praying that one group takes care of, because I think that would be really, really a big deal to our community, especially to this Harris-a-thon that we are a part of tonight. And so I'm putting this challenge out. The chairs knows what it is. To the D9. To the D9, if you don't know what the D9 is in Tarrant County, what is it? The Non-Panhellenic Council, the Divine Nine, the fraternities and sororities of the African American people here in America, and then not only them, because I know I see TikTok, and TikTok is diverse, and it's Black and white, it's Hispanics there. So let me just tell you, the Divine Nine, I'm putting it out there. Postcards. We need y'all to lift y'all sister up at the White House to get into the White House. So we need y'all to talk to every person in Tarrant County. We need your help, Divine Nine. Excuse me, Harris. I don't even call her Kamala because I'm gonna put some respect on her name. If we call him Biden, I'm gonna call her Harris. So I'm gonna just say, and guess what? This week has been inspirational because I learned that from a white man on TikTok. Put some respect on her name. Call her Harris. If we call the men by the last name, we're going to call her by her last name. So D9, now we know that most of the donations came from North Texas. We saw that bubble. So y'all better come on. And I know Delta Sigma Theta over here in Fort Worth, they can sell some popcorn. So get it together. Tell everybody to vote for down-ballot candidates. Make sure that they get out and vote. Make sure that they're voting, supporting their sister up to get to the White House. Jared, you too.
Yeah.
You better get your people together.
Come
on
hey,
out here. So I'm
the brothers of Alpha Phi Alpha, first of all, we vote. Okay. Last I heard, the Alphas in Fort Worth are Fort Worth's favorite frat. So
Yes.
Alphas, hey, it's time
Okay,
to,
so y'all gonna be getting out there riding with your kids and
you already
everything.
know. Hey,
Okay.
it's time we step
Hey,
up.
Shout out
Yes.
to the Divine Nine. If you were
Shout
on
out to
this
them.
call, let me see those colors in the comment box. Y'all didn't think that I wasn't gonna say nothing as the Tarrant County Democratic Party and a member of Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. I
Get
wasn't
it.
gonna say nothing. I know the rules and the laws and the bylaws and the procedures on what we can and cannot do, but I also know that y'all on this call. And I know that there are some things that we can do. So shout out to the Divine Nine, my brother, Dr. Jerry Williams. I'm sure he is in support of what the message that has been said, that has been brought tonight. We appreciate all that. And we are wrapping up. We're going to hear from Gabe Rivas, who is the
The vice chair.
Vice chair.
Yeah.
I was going to say co-chair, the vice chair of the Tarrant County Democratic Party, bringing his perspectives on a call to action to get everyone out, engaged and organized. So what you got, Gabe?
Yeah, great to hear from you guys. Great to be here with everyone. I know it's so excited to have this call, to hear everyone's excitement, to hear from all the great presenters. We've already talked so much about what you can do to get ready in these last 100 days. I want to remind everybody that, yes, we're in the last 100 days, but that's 100 days till it's over. Now, voting's not starting in 100 days. Voting's starting in just a couple of months. Once those applications for vote by mail start hitting post boxes, once people start turning in their ballots by mail, we want to make sure that everyone has a plan to vote. Now, we're probably preaching to the choir. Everyone here, y'all are all probably voters. Hopefully, if you aren't, you've got a plan already too. But you need to reach out to your networks. Everyone here has extensive networks, and it's your job to reach out to those networks and make sure your people aren't only registered to vote, they have a plan to vote. They know that they need to be not only voting for Vice President Harris at the top of the ticket. That's what we hear the most about all the time. We're hearing about that daily on all our social media and in the news and everything. But they need to know about our local candidates, know about voting for Democrats from the top of the ballot to the State House, White House, all the way down to our constables and local elected officials. It's going to be very important for not only getting Vice President Harris to stay in the White House as our new president, but making sure that she's got the support of all of our congressmen, senators, and we have Democrats representing us here locally as well. So make sure your networks are educated about who all they need to vote for. They need to vote for that full ballot, as well as making sure they know what their vote plan is. Now, like I said, that's going to be coming up in a couple of months. Just was when those applications for vote by mail are coming in the mailboxes. So if you we'll have in that vote kit how you need to be able to information for filling out your application vote by mail, how to get it back in. There's also phone numbers, both with the calling in the county party as well as the state party's hotline for helping with applications and vote by mail ballots. But also making sure the people in your network, the people that you know where they need to go vote, know when those early voting dates are. When I talk to people, I know what their nearest intersection is and the nearest voting location. So, hey, make sure you vote on the first day early voting. Get it out of the way. I never wait till election day because you never know what's going to happen. You want to make sure you get your vote plan. Make sure people know there's only going to be one weekend of voting. Election day is always on a Tuesday. We used to have a couple weekends, but there's only going to be one weekend for early voting. So don't tell people, oh, I'll get it next Saturday. If you're voting on the weekend, there's only going to be one opportunity to do that. So, and make sure people know where they need to go vote to, whether it's going to be at the local county courthouse or rec center or wherever their location is, and be that advocate for your friends and family. It was great to hear from all our Generation Z. Some of them, like I said, they said can't vote yet, but you can commit your people to vote. And if you can get them to pledge to you that they will vote for you, you're going to be a big voice in whether they're going to vote or not. So make sure you get all your people together. Tell your friends and family to go with you. Tell your people that you're getting out to bring their friends and family with them. We all have extensive networks, and our networks have extensive networks. So if we all get together and go vote together, we're going to make a big difference this election.
Absolutely.
That's powerful, Gabe. Yeah. Let me tell you, in my family, we have a saying that if you go vote by yourself, you did it wrong. And so we always go as a family. And then when we leave the polls, we text or we call 3 more people that we know to go to the polls, and then we ask them to do the same. So getting out the vote is just that easy, ensuring that you don't go to the polls by yourself, that you have a plan to vote. and that you're encouraging your loved ones, your friends, your coworkers, your aunties, your mamas, your cousins, all of them
All of
to
that.
come out and vote. We needed this election is important. Clearly, you've heard that today.
And that's been the great thing about I just got back from block walk, and that's why I'm still outside, still sweating out here.
I love
But
it.
talking to the people at the doors, we have one person on our list to talk to. They may not be the person that answers the door, but that other person that answers the door probably needs to
That's
hear the
right.
message just as well. So talk to not only the person, even when you're talking to people that you don't know in the neighborhood. If you're a precinct chair, get out and talk to these people. Make sure that you get everybody in that house out to vote, not just the main target too. So.
Thank you, Gabe. We appreciate it. Now go get some AC. You in Texas. So we are down to our last two. That's me and you, Jared.
Hey.
Last.
No. You go first, please.
Right. Okay. So I appreciate all of those who have hung on the call. We wanted to have y'all out here by 7:30, but sometimes you just gotta let stuff move.
Yeah.
I'm from a household of two preachers. And they would say sometimes you just gotta let the spirit have
its way.
And that's what we did today on Sunday. We just let the spirit have its way. I'm sure I got some witnesses with me still. And if you still with me, drop something in the chat box. Let me know you're still with me. So I am tasked with bringing the call to action. You've heard from all demographics of persons who support the efforts of our soon-to-be presidential nominee, Kamala Harris. And you've heard from candidates, you've heard from elected officials, you've heard from activists and strong community leaders here in Tarrant County. And they all pretty much have said the same thing. And I have summarized that for you. So if you're still on the call, hopefully you're taking notes. If not, there will be a follow-up on our social media and emails for this call to action. The first thing we're asking you to do is organize. We're not asking you to bring in 50,000 people to a Zoom call. We're asking you to get with your church members, your friends, your neighbors, your organizations, whatever it is, whatever your circle is, organize with those persons and figure out what it is that you want to do. And after you've determined what you want to do, hit us up at the Tarrant County Democratic Party office on Friday, August the 2nd, and we will issue to you a kit based upon whatever it is that you want to do. We have voter education kits. We will have voter outreach kits, yard sign drops. Sometimes that goes a long way. As a candidate, you were out days before or hours before the election, and you just needed a team of people to help you put yard signs out at the polls. We will have kits on helping you organize those efforts.
It looks like our chair froze. Jared, you need to finish.
Hey, we gonna keep it rolling. I was waiting to see if Madam Chair was gonna bounce back. But listen, there are so many opportunities for y'all. She was telling you that we have the toolkit for you. So whatever it is that your organization feels is your niche to help us turn out the vote and turn Tarrant County blue, that's what we need you to do. And we need you to stay connected to the Tarrant County Democratic Party. You can support the local county party through volunteering. You've already heard the charge from our Gen Z crew about donating $5, being a sustaining member monthly to the Tarrant County Democratic Party. Hey, if you big ballin' and you want to do more than $5, you can do that too. But make sure whatever you can do, you support your local Tarrant County Democratic Party. And that's not all. Don't go to the polls by yourself. Make sure you make a plan to vote. And make sure that you bring your friends, your family, your loved ones to the polls this election to make sure that we not only get our illustrious Vice President Harris elected as the next president and the first woman and the first Black woman of the United States of America elected as president, but also that we make sure that we get all of our candidates down ballot elected. Candidates like our next U.S. Senator from the great state of Texas, Colin Allred, elected, making sure that we get local candidates like Laura Lehman for Tarrant County Commissioner and Denise Wilkerson for state representative, and all the amazing candidates that you heard right here, right now, tonight, who are working so hard day in and day out to represent our community, our values, our vision. So we know what to do. We have so much work to be done. Crystal Gayton also said that, we went a little bit long, but that's just a testament to how much energy is in Tarrant County, in this country, in this moment to make history this November. And so we are looking for you to get engaged with us and to help us turn Tarrant County blue. Thank y'all for joining us tonight. Make sure you follow us on social media. Join us for our next rally. There will be plenty more where this came from. We have 100 days left, as Gabe said, till election day, but we have tomorrow to get to work. And so let's get ready to tie up our Chucks, our New Balances, our Nikes. I got my white Chucks. Our chair is here. She called me to the carpet about my white Chucks. They are not so clean anymore, but I'm going to tie up my laces as well. Madam Chair, I'm going to pass it back to you so that you can bring us home for this amazing Harris-a-thon.
Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
For the quick pivot. I knew you
Hey.
were the one to take care of it if anything fails. So thank you for doing what you do best. The second call to action is simply create a vote plan. Gabe Rivas already talked about that.
Yep.
Early voting, calendar those days, pick a day to go vote. Don't wait till the last day. I know there are people who subscribe to that last day of election voting. Y'all, there are going to be so many tactics and antics to dissuade you and to interfere with you getting that vote cast. I'm a fan of early voting. Go ahead and get it done. And let me tell you also from a candidate perspective, y'all be killing us when y'all wait to the day of election because we're watching those numbers, right? And if y'all want to stop calling y'all, go ahead and vote because once y'all vote, we take y'all off our calling list. So go ahead and get it done for us. And then lastly, number 3, support your local party and its candidates. We cannot stress that enough. Our efforts at the Tarrant County Democratic Party is to support candidates up and down the ballot, and specifically those candidates whose names you've heard throughout the last 2 hours. Patrick Moses, Laura, Denise Wilkerson, Mark Clayton, Ebony Turner. Shout out to what's happening in Mansfield, House District 96. Y'all have a true opportunity to flip that seat. And HD 97, shout out to if I missed your name, charge it to my heart, to my mind, not my heart. I love all of our candidates. Y'all know Sandra Lee is also on the ballot. Constable McGinty is also on the ballot.
Roderick Miles.
Yeah, the easy thing to do is just vote D. It's just that simple. Vote
That's
D
it.
all the way down the ballot, and you won't go wrong.
You won't go wrong.
We appreciate you hanging with us for 2 hours and 7 minutes, but there is a lot of more work to be done, a lot of more hours of work to be done in these next 100 days. To see you have signed up, volunteer, a precinct chair, an election worker, or even just simply donate your prayers, your $5 or whatever it is. We will make great use of it. Thank you to all of our electeds who showed up today. Thank you for all of our Gen Z representation, those who work well in the community. Y'all give us a call, give us an email, send us an email, inbox us. I'm on social media all the time. Whatever you need from us, we will be a resource to provide what you need to organize, to create a vote plan, and support locally. We appreciate you, and we'll see y'all soon. Thank you.